Okay, I will just. Hi, folks. Thanks for joining in. We'll be starting very shortly. I'm just waiting for the. Yes. Sir is here. We'll just begin in a moment. I hope I'm audible to you all and visible as well. Can you drop a thumbs up in the chat if I'm audible to all of you? Okay, I think that would do. Once again, I'll just request the speaker to join in. Once again, welcome to everyone here. We will be starting very shortly. We have the speaker on board with us. Sayo, can you switch your camera? Okay. I think there are some issues on Nitish sir's end. I'll try to connect with him once again. Yes. Before we begin, let's do a short question and answer round. It's nothing formal. I just want you to drop one thing that you are grateful about today from your day.
I think my camera is not working. It's in a different.
Yes. We cannot see your face. We can actually see the opposite.
Yeah, that's actually it's the inverted one. It's the inverted one, so I think I need to see how I can switch the camera.
Okay. Sure.
Yeah,
Sure.
sorry.
You can figure it out. You're visible now. Perfect.
Okay, sorry for the before.
No, it's all right. So, sir, maybe begin now?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. So since everyone is here now, guys will be starting now, and I'll start with the introduction, a very short introduction. First of all, have you ever wondered about the ideas that you can pen down and the words that you can use to influence? Have you ever wondered what the power those words actually hold in true life? And people can actually be persuaded by action and motivated to alter their lives and the world by the writer's words. So therefore, we present to you a series, I Am Writer, with the maxim, I would love to invite one of those influencers, such as Mr. Nitish Raj, a literary critic turned author, co-founder of Literia Insight, and editor-in-chief at the Literary Mirror. So we thank you for your presence here. He's an eminent speaker at prestigious institutions like IIT, IIM, Lucknow, and NIT. Mr. Nitish is also the host of a unique talk show, The Lit Talks. He has been invited as host to international conference on multidisciplinary research. Mumbai as a guest poet at International Poetry Conference in Tunisia, Africa, which has then been published and featured at multiple prominent media houses of both national and international reputation. He has been featured in the prestigious The CEO magazine as an entrepreneur for the Lit Hour, an initiative to celebrate and bring books, drama, and screen together, and had been a proud panelist at the highly prestigious Ahmedabad International Literature Festival and Kalinga Literature Festival. His triumphs doesn't end here, but we got a session to move forward to and listen to those intimidating words. So, sir, I may hand over the platform to you now. We are eagerly waiting to.
So first of all, thank you to the TEDx Shivaji College for giving me such a golden opportunity to present my talk on I am a writer. Okay, so start with something like that. Being an author or writer is something being fancy very these days. Means having a book name on the cover of your book seems very fancy. Seems like a solace. Seems like we have achieved something. We have achieved something in our life. And there have been quotes which had actually been written on, the in the praise of the authors. I remember one such quote by, Gopal Das Neeraj, the legendary poet. इंसान होना भाग्य की बात है और कभी होना सौभाग्य की बात है. वन मोर सच कोट आई रिमेम्बर, धूल जैसे कदम से मिलती है जिंदगी, इस कदर हमसे मिलती है, जाने कितने हैं जहां में जिन्हें शोहरत कलम से मिलती है. बट इज इट रियली so much easy to gain name, fame, recognition through authorship? Is it such easy to be a writer? As you mentioned, in my, introduction, that I have been, the co-founder of a, Literia Insight, a PR firm solely based for authors, the editor-in-chief of a magazine, and I have a career spanning more than half a decade, working with authors. And I can vouch that it's not so easy. Absolutely not. It's not easy. Because whenever I look back at my journey, I find that, people, when start to write, they become a laughing stock among their own friends. Means मैं इस तरह से इसको बोलूं कि हमने कुछ लिखा और दोस्तों ने हमारा मजाक उड़ाना शुरू नहीं किया. क्यों? क्योंकि नहीं, विश्वास ही नहीं हो रहा कि मैं जो लिख रहा हूं वो कुछ अलग भी लिख सकता हूं. उन्हें तो लग रहा है ये जो बच्चा है जो कल तक मेरे साथ घूम रहा था, कल तक मेरे साथ इधर से उधर क्लास में शरारतें कर रहा था, वो कैसे लिख सकता है. और ऐसा नहीं है कि कई बार लोग बोलते हैं सर ये स्मॉल टाउन्स में प्रॉब्लम होती है कि हमारे यहाँ पैशन फॉलो नहीं करते, हमारे यहाँ जो है सिर्फ एक सेट पैटर्न है जॉब्स की या कॉर्पोरेट जॉब्स की या गवर्नमेंट जॉब्स की. ऐसा नहीं है. When at that time I was studying one of the prominent P school of the, in the capital of the country, New Delhi. Even being in New Delhi, I was finding that people are not ready to accept that I'm going to write something and leave aside the kids. They were just college kids like me. Even my own faculty members were not ready to believe. They were saying that पढ़ाई पे ध्यान दे लो, फोकस कर लो, करियर पे फोकस कर लो. मैंने कहा सर, we are into a management college, we are into a B school, and if I become a little bit, like student, हमारे कॉलेज में इतना ज्यादा पढ़ाई होती भी नहीं कि हमें पढ़ने की ज्यादा जरूरत पड़े. But the main thing was that people are not ready to accept that you can write. But again, we are a writer. As the theme says, I'm a writer. So we are not ready to, back out. That why should I back out? The only aim while we are writing is to get published. And getting published, is it easy? No way. These days kids can say, that, okay, it's very easy. You can go self-publishing, traditional publishing, Amazon, boutique publishing. There are a lot of publishings model to publish your book. But if you go back a decade, when you were into college, when I was into college, trust me, people do not have even an idea that how to publish. Leave aside the publishing, they do not even have an idea about who are the publishers, how can we publish. And I remember myself, I was wandering in the streets of Daryaganj. That, okay, can anyone publish my book? And thankfully, I met some good people. So it's not like every time it was a very sad story or a film story that everything went wrong. No, nothing went wrong like that. But some people were saying that, okay, we will give 100 copies of your manuscript in the form of a book and we'll charge you this thing. They're right. Obviously, if they're publishing, there's a cost attached with it, and we have to get it published. But at the end of the day, your mind sometimes, even you're not aware that is it the right way or the wrong way. But you sometimes, your sixth sense or your inhibitions or your intuition say that look, it's not going the right way. So how do I do it? And things were going like that. There was nothing, no miracles, nothing like that. I was wandering the street of Daryaganj when I came back to my home city. I'm basically from Bihar, Gaya. So I went back to Patna. Even there I was wandering, and their story was saying that it's not like Delhi and Patna were different when it comes to literature. I was very happy that at least you are at par with, and some respect. Things went by like that. So I thought, how to do it? Then again, because we're living in Delhi, so we have a little bit more awareness about, this world. So I found someday that there are called literary agents. There are called something called query letters, whom you have to pitch so that they can accept your manuscript and you can get to be a published author. Okay, done. I did the so-called research on my internet that what can I do. I submitted, I remember, 36 query letters in 2 days to multiple agents. And trust me, I will not say it was very well researched. Whomever I found, I just submitted them, whatever they were asking. Some were asking one line of your book. How can you, make me sell, pitch your book in one line. Some were saying sample chapters, 3 chapters. Some were saying 3,000 words. Everyone have their own demand. And I tried to fulfill everyone's demand of the agents. Some were saying we are not accepting unsolicited manuscripts. Okay, there's one more funny story before that. Someday I found, while researching about my query letter, that there's something called copyright which makes you sure that your book is your own. And trust me, when it comes to copyright, I remember I was wondering for, a copyright lawyer, which we say IPR lawyer in these days. I went to a lawyer and he gave me that, okay, you can have the power of attorney of your own manuscript. Today it may seem very laughable, but trust me, at that time it was seeming like that, oh, there's something called power of attorney. But again, the sixth sense said me that power of attorney something comes into real estate, not into writing. So power of attorney could not be that thing. So okay, leave it, let it be, let the time come when the copyright could be there. But I submitted as usual, 36 bullets, and I was lucky. It was the time of mid 2016. Thankfully, after 15 days or 20 days, I got the letter of intent from one of the publishing houses of the country, Lead Start. I was lucky. I will say I was very lucky because I've seen people, working day in, day out to have one of the letter of intent or the preliminary, acceptance from any publisher. But I was very ecstatic. I was very happy that, things had happened. I will now get to be an author. The book will be on my name. I will become, the best-selling author. Everything, all sort of things were running into my mind. But trust me, being a writer is the most tedious job in this world. Most tedious job in this world. And they said that, okay, once your turn will come, your manuscript is into pipeline, and your turn will come, we will give you the publishing offer. I said, agreed. I was very super happy. And days went on, went on, went on. Days turns into weeks, weeks turns into months, and months turn into years also. But of course, as you're a writer, you do not stop writing. You do not stop writing. So at the turn of fate, I joined a media organization named by, the small media organization, digital media organization, the Policy Times. So here I got a chance to write a lot of things: opinion editorials, columns, news articles, book reviews, literary criticisms. And I was feeling happy that at least my work is getting published. Because being a writer, you agree with this fact that once your work is getting published, you get the most, satisfaction. This is the most satisfactory thing. But as they said, if everything is going into smooth way, trust me, there is a problem. And it's like that, never anything can go smooth every time. I remember one of the things, I was writing a piece for, an author, literary criticism. And I faced the credit issue. There was one of the very popular magazine, I will not name, a literary magazine. They said, sir, we will publish you this piece, criticism or review, whatever you say, but we will put a girl's picture and girl's name. And you should be happy that your work is published. And I said, what is this? It's okay. I'm not looking very good looking. I might not, my name is not so much fancy. But what's the problem? So what, youngsters do normally say that, sir, I'm into media and I will sue you. This, we tried our best, whatever I can do at that time. Because I was not able to comprehend the fact that someone is trying to publish my piece on the name of mine. And to put a girl's photo in the credit. But thankfully, they published into my name. They gave me the due credit. I said, oh my God, literary industry not so white. Means here things also happens. You have to be very much practically, aware that, and you have to be very righteous about your own things. I said, trust me, I hadn't expected that. And there's one more thing. It may seem filmy. It may seem, that it's story. Someday some person catches your work, his eyes catches your work and they say that, oh, he writes well. And I remember in 2017, if I'm not wrong, there was a book by Shashi Tharoor sir, Why Am I Hindu? As usual, am I audible? Am I audible?
Yes, you are very audible, sir. Please
okay, thank you. So there was a book published in February 2017, if I'm not wrong, by Shashi Tharoor sir, Why Am I Hindu? And as usual, I wrote a literary criticism piece for the TPT, the Policy Times. And I should say, lucky or star signed, into my favor. It caught the attention of Shashi Tharoor sir himself, and he personally appreciated me on Twitter. And that was the gung-ho moment. Now people started to take my work seriously. That means if someone is being appreciated by the Sasi Tharoor, trust me, he has some caliber. He has some caliber. You'd have to agree. If you are saying that, okay, if Sasi Tharoor sir has told you, then you are not caliber. So you think, yeah, there's something wrong in me itself. So, okay, things started to change for positive after that. Obviously it doesn't change for lot, but yeah, there was a positive vibe, positive perception about me towards people, that this guy know how to write, this guy know how is crafted. And after that I got published into few literary magazines, literary journals like CLRI and all these things. And I was working with authors. Even into the media, I was handling the literary department. I interviewed some big names like Kiran Nagarkar sir, Sudip Nagarkar sir, Nomonil Chakrabarti, Volga ma'am, Anuradha Bhattacharya. I also, held, literary events with, Captain Jay Joshi in Jamia Millia Islamia, in various colleges of Delhi University. Beauty of being living in Delhi, that you get to know about a lot of people and you have a great exposure, thankfully. And I also presented my, as a solo author, presented my first talk in CMYK bookstore in GK, Greater Canas, around women empowerment and different colleges also. I remember. But as I said, if things are running smooth, wait, things will get worse. In a matter of time, I left my job. I lost my job, I should say better. I lost my job at the TPT, and all the writing came to a halt. Completely. Means meeting with the literary doings, having literary fests, arranging roundtable conference. I remember I had arranged a literary conference, roundtable conference with Korean delegates from the persons, publishing industry of Korea. And there were also some big publishers from Delhi, like, Print, Blue Rouge. So there was a lot of fun. You are working into a profession. You are working into a profession where pursuing your passion. Could better it be. But life do not run like that way. So I lost my job, I should say, and I went back to Hyderabad, where I had done my masters. Obviously, you have to, have to earn your bread and butter. You have to earn your bread and butter. So I went back to Hyderabad for my job. But one thing had happened very, I would say that I was lucky that I met a person during the roundtable conference whose name is Vikas Saxena, who is my brother, partner, and we had been together working from the last 3.5 years. And one day I had a conversation. One day I had a conversation that what you are doing and what I am doing. So we all said that, okay. Am I audible? Am I audible?
Go ahead, you are audible. Yes, yes.
Hello.
You are perfectly audible.
Yeah. So
yes,
I made there Vikas Saxena, my partner, my brother, whatever I can say, it would be an understatement. So after that, once a chance, conversation with him, let us do that. Let's do something, for the betterment of authors. Let's do something for our betterment. Let's do something which no one is able to do. And we joined hands. And on 15th March 2019, we founded the Literia Insight. We founded Literia Insight, a platform for the authors, where the authors can, work, where the authors can, express, where the authors can share their ideas, where the authors can have a group so that they can actually find the reason why they are writing, the awareness about their writing. And once again, I got lucky. Sometimes you say, I always believe in one fact, that if you are a good person, you get lucky again and again. So my first event was in the prestigious IIT Roorkee during their annual fest Cognizance. And I was once again, I would say, very lucky enough to share the stage with one of the, doyens of the industry in the literature, Kunwar Bechain Saab, who is also regarded as the guru of Dr. Kumar Viswas. Now, actually, it motivated me a lot that if you are being, performing into IITs, but even if you had performed with Kumar Viswas, you would feel super, super confident. And if you had performed with the guru of Dr. Kumar Viswas, trust me, your confidence knows no boundaries. Seriously, it was like now I found that, yeah, something we can do. Something we can do. We together, me and Vikas Saxena, my brother, can do something together. We just need to focus upon. And thing was that when I came here, I found that people have, a tendency to, segregate between English literature and Hindi literature. And we as a partner, he was basically from Hindi literature and I was basically from English literature. So I know that, and every writer would agree with the fact that literature has no language. It's just the outflow, the outpouring of emotions. And I remember the first project as a book which we signed was a poetry collection in Hindi. And we got a chance to work with, a lot of authors, during these, years. But one thing I found out that the authors are very less aware and very much enthusiastic. Enthusiasm is a very good thing, but being less aware is a sin, especially in this field. Yes, I remember when I used to say people, you know, that there should be a concept of pre-marketing, pre-promotion. People would say, "Sir, let the book come, then we will think upon. Why should I start, promoting myself?" I used to say that, look, you might be settled in your job, you might be settled in your profession, you might be settled in your college, you might be, settled in your family life, you might be settled in your worldly affairs, but you are a student here. You can be student of literature. You cannot be a master of literature. We should agree with this fact. We all, no matter how much we have worked, for 10 years, 20 years, 50 years, and trust me, I have met very senior literary figures in this industry, and they have never said that I am the master of literature. Everyone has said that I'm a student of literature, and Goddess Saraswati has just, been kind enough to shower her blessings on us. But when you meet new authors, sorry, they are very much enthusiastic, which I love, which I respect. But they are their own ideas. They are actually have misconceptions. Why pre-marketing? Why pre-promotions? Why should I go for these particular things? And the one thing I would like to discuss, people are actually in our country very much obsessed towards being a bestseller. You name any author and his first, query is, how can I be a bestseller? Then let me ask you, what is a bestseller? They say, sir, can I be an Amazon bestseller? Can I sell my copies in thousand? Then I remember one of my own, question during the roundtable conference in Delhi, during the Policy Times roundtable conference. There was a question that whom we call a bestseller, and there was a, obviously a good discussion. So someone saying that, okay, if you have sold 10,000 copies, you can call yourself a bestseller. Someone said, no, it's a million copies into the US and the West. Someone said, no, it should be multi-millions copies. Then I had given an example. I might find, you will also find it very, relatable. For example, Paulo Coelho, the great writer, sells 10 lakh copies, a million copies. Okay. Would you call him a bestseller? No. The reason being, his book sells in multi-millions. We have seen that Alchemist has sold, if I'm not wrong with the data, 65 million or 75 million copies. Is one other books are selling into millions. By the River Piedra, there's one book. There is one different book. The Witch of Portobello. All are selling in millions, multi-millions. Dan Brown is selling into multi-millions, and if he's selling 1 lakh or 10 lakh copies, it's not a bestseller. But if I'm a newbie author and I had written for the first time, and I'm thinking that, okay, if even books, sells 1,000 copies, it would reach to my family, friends, my colleagues. I'd feel that, okay, I have done something credible. And by a ton of it, or with the help of proper marketing, or with the help of proper branding, it sells 10,000 copies. Should I sell myself a bestseller? Of course, I'm a bestseller because I've expected just 1,000 copies to get sold off, and I have sold 10,000 copies, 10 times what I have expected. So as we say in the life that there is success, the definition of success is different for everyone. So the concept of bestseller is different for everyone. It might happen that a person sells millions of copies, but his actual aim is to get, adapted. His actual, am I audible?
Yes, sir, you're audible.
Am I audible? Okay. So his actual, dream or his actual aim is to come onto, silver screen or to, onto, his book should be transformed into an OTT, onto an OTT platform. So his success would be that okay, let me my book sell just few thousand copies or few hundred copies, but my book is going coming into a web series or coming into a movie onto Netflix, Amazon, Hotstar, whatever be the OTT platform he dreams of. So why are not we understanding the fact that best selling is just a concept? People are okay, I'm the Amazon bestseller. Trust me, Amazon bestsellers are changed in the blink of an eye. Bestseller means you have to be for a very long time. Means you have made some mark. You have made some, a credibility that this book is sitting into number one position for the last 3 weeks, last 30 weeks, last 300 weeks. It's not like that. I took a screenshot of Amazon bestseller, ranking number one, and posted it on the social media and just applauding, give me a round of applause because I'm a bestseller. No, it doesn't happen like that. If it had happened like that in India, I think 90% author could be the bestseller. But trust me, ask authors, they are lamenting because their books are not selling. Why are not selling? Yeah, now coming to the second thing, we always say that books are not selling, books are not selling, books are not selling. Why do books do not sell? Are we ready to write something different? I remember I used to give an example that when there is trend that okay, romance books are doing good, let's we feel yeah, we also fall in love in the college. Yeah, there was someone who was very in love with me, or I was in love with her. Let's start writing romance. If someone there's a trend of thrillers, we start saying yeah, oh, what happens in thrillers? Nothing. There should be a murder and the police would not be able to catch the culprit, and there was some boom, like there would be a mystery, that he or she is the killer. Let's write killer. Mythology, yeah, this particular author doing great. His name is all over the country. Let's start mythology because we all are, God-fearing people, God-loving people, whatever we say. Everyone believes in God in this way or that way. Are we trying to write something new? Are we trying to write for the sake of writing? No. We are writing just in order to be a writer. This is the problem. If we say people that write something which do not, I remember people saying, I know my audience. So I write according to them. And ask any big authors, ask any legend authors, they will say we write, then our audience find us. You will never get to know that, I have written for my audience. Means how can you decide that there is a particular set of audience, okay, who will love it? No. It might be very easy to give me an argument that, okay, I have written, this genre. For example, I will take an erotica, it would be 18 plus. It might happen that your erotica has a philosophical quotient and 50 plus and 60 plus audience, each audience love it. That, okay, this guy has something, even though he written the erotica genre, he has the, knowledge, know how to touch the spiritual quotient of the reader, to touch the philosophical quotient of the reader. First, we need to write. But what we do, we are very much, very affirmed that, okay, let me write about the audience. I know, means I've seen people say that let's write in that way that it should be adapted. And we believe in doing rounds and rounds to the screen agents and to the director, sir, please, I have written something very new and you should, take my book to a, adaptation. And then we feel happy that my book has got adapted. We have got a credit. And now we crave as an author that I am not getting the due credit. If I'm getting the due credit, not getting the due remuneration. Do we have the audacity to negotiate with the directors, to the screen agents? I know I'm using the word audacity, but once again, I will repeat the word. Do we have the audacity to negotiate with the directors and the screen agents while adapting? Sorry, most of the authors do not have this audacity. Why? They are just contented, they are just satisfied that my book is coming onto the silver screen. That's great. That should be, that's the train, that should be in our dream, and everyone wants to, see their characters live dancing all around the globe. But Why should they remunerate us? Why should they pay us? Why shouldn't they just leave us with after giving me the credit? Because we do not have belief on our own manuscript. We do not have belief on our own book. Why? Because we think, oh my God, if these things happen, I will be into the limelight. Here, the problem rises here that we are writing in order to get glamorized, that people will know that we will post soon adapted to be into a major motion picture, soon adapted to be into a web series. And if we'll ask them, they will say how much remuneration you have got. I'll leave aside, actually I've got the credit, and this particular A-lister star is going to act into my book. My dear author, the A-lister star is getting remunerated, the director is getting remunerated, producer is going to reap, if it gets a bumper hit, is going to get reap a tons of money, and you are just happy with getting a single line credit. Why? Because you do not have the patience, you do not have the guts to believe on your own manuscript. Right? Why? Because we have actually modified ourselves to just think like that. Okay, if I remember, there are people saying, no, the authors are not, the entrepreneurs are there. And I've never understood how art and business can be synonymous. Either I could be a businessman or I could be an artist. We have, examples like Munshi Premchand, who had, died, in, what we say, while they were struggling, they could have written for, Bollywood. One was at that time there. But they chose to write. I'm not against the money, as a writer. But calling yourself a businessman, as an entrepreneur, or you're an author. So clarify yourself. What do you want to be? An author or an entrepreneur? I do not believe in this fact that I am an author. So the primary goal of an author is to write. Write something which impacts the society. Even business tells, if you are able to impact the society, your product do not need so much of rampant marketing. Forced marketing, I should say, use a better word. Means I am going to, multiple book launches, quotations, I'm going to, having book launches in 5-star properties. I've seen authors having a book launches in a 5-star property. Where are my readers? Am I reaching to my readers? Am I reaching to the college students? No. Why? Seriously, it would give me a, good idea that, yeah, this guy is having very, much well off. He can, have a book launch into, a 5-star property. That's great. Am I reaching to my authors? Yeah, I have seen, having authors, that's, having book launches with the Bollywood stars. Okay, that looks very great. I remember there was one of, a book launches, by my, which we had, organized, or can arranged by the Bollywood star Rajkumar Rao sir. Obviously, it gives us, due credibility that, Rajkumar Rao sir has been into, the book launch where we were also present. But is it serving the purpose? I do not believe, as a literary person. Means how can it happen that I'm not reaching to my readers and I am just doing all those things which comes under that, okay, let me believe that I'm a good writer because I'm sitting with who is who of the industry. No, you have to focus on what I have written, right? If I have not written well enough, then trust me, no matter how much you put an effort, you cannot be an author. I remember when we founded, the Literary Mirror, 2019, the first edition, actually thought of, gracing the front cover with the authors itself. And people were saying, hey, what is this? Why you are giving the front cover to an author? I said, friend, it is a literary magazine. Then who should grace the front cover? Any star? Any celebrity? Any model? Or who? Yeah, there are literary magazines who do, thematic, front covers. I'm not against that. There are, themes, which actually you need to decipher that what they put on their front cover. I cannot name them. There are very few popular literary magazines in the country. Means you have to put an effort, your mind for, few hours to understand what actually they are trying to say through their front cover. But in my, I think we have done around 30, 32 editions, and I think 27 or 28 authors have graced the front cover. So if my author is not my celebrity, then who is? Tell me. Means I am saying that I'm running a literary magazine. I'm the editor-in-chief of a literary magazine. And I am saying, oh, this would be a thematic, front cover. This would decipher, the era of the, the literary era, or, the different literary genres, the different literary movements, different literary groups, whatever God knows. But my author is not getting the due limelight, even into a literary magazine. So whether it should go into a pastry magazine or where? I do not believe in this fact that my author should even strive hard to get on the front cover of a literary magazine. I remember, even literary magazines are not held in very high respect, even into the authors. Means I normally get submissions from, the authors or, the prospective writers. I think they do not even worry to polish it. They think, okay, let it, if it get published, then that's okay. If it do not get published, it's get okay, leave it. What I can, publish it into any media house. Media house is the best way to portray our work, to give, outreach to our work, to give, limelight to our work. But as a literary magazine is the soul of, the literature. It's very ingrained into the literature. And sadly, we do not have a very high, heritage when it comes to, literary magazines. It's, I think, 80 or 100 years back. And when we compare to the West, it's, I think, 400 or 500 years, rich heritage. Even though we are not trying hard to enrich our culture. And the reason being, we as a, editors or editor-in-chiefs of a literary magazine are not very much enthusiastic. We are trying, okay, if this author comes into a literary magazine, my subscription would increase. My readership would increase, which is a good thing in the form of, as you are running a, a magazine, there are costs attached with it. I would agree. But where is the basic literature? Where is the literature which actually you had thought of? Because I would agree with this fact, and everyone would agree with this fact as an editor, that there was something running in our mind that why I'm not, you know, doing something for the literary fraternity. Let's start a literary magazine where there will be quality literature, where I would actually promote literature. And once we start the literary magazine, we start of thinking which big names I would be able to bring to my literary fraternity, to my literary, circuit, so that my literary magazine would get a number of subscription. And my dear friends, sorry to say that we are still running very far behind in terms of literary subscriptions. Why we are not able to promote the literature? And if I talk about my own magazine, I've given spaces to the authors. As I said, around 25 or 26 authors, different authors have covered it, graced the front cover. But still, I have been able to interview the filmmakers, international filmmakers, Sahitya, Academy winners, Saraswati Samman winners. Means big, big awardees are interviewed by me. A lot of good stories have been, published into my magazine. Even, the awards which are done, given by the media had been done, featured. And I remember one of my author was very kind enough. He had done a book launch with, the superstar Mohanlal, Malayalam superstar Mohanlal. And we actually also covered that news into a magazine. Yeah, I'm also adding glamour. If you think that glamour is a thing, then come to us. We have a glamour, we have the quality literature, and we are still focusing just on the authors. We are. I will tell you a funny thing. It might seem weird, but it's just for the context of the magazine. Okay, there was, as I said, there's one of my, author. I would not say one of my author. Actually, I got a chance to interview her, Parinda Joshi. Her book got adapted into a movie made in China. And luckily, it was through another contact. I got a chance to interview her. Her interview was going to be published. And because Made in China actually comprised of, the Bollywood star Rajkumar Osir, a great star. I'm a very big fan of him. So we were also allowed to, publish his photo. So actually, my team said that, sir, if we could publish Rajkumar on the front cover, it would give us maximum outreach, maximum exposure. Obviously, a small literary magazine putting a Bollywood superstar, a young superstar, on the front cover would give you enough coverage. Am I right? Everyone would agree. No doubt about that. But as a literary figure, as a literary student, as a literary, patronage, as an editor in chief, I decided to give the front cover to a different author, and Rajkumar Rao sir was on the inside page of that particular edition. This is the service to literature, in my opinion, that my author is my celebrity. Rajkumar Rao sir can come into any magazine of the, you name any magazine of the world, he can come in the blink of an eye. But my author can only enrich this feeling for the whole life, that I was on the front cover and the Bollywood superstar was on the inside page. So that is the thing. That should be your commitment towards literature. I'm not against the glamour. Obviously, we have to add the glamour to the literature. No doubt about it. But not at the cost of literature.
Exactly.
We are doing everything at the cost of literature. I remember I remember one of my authors, I said, ma'am, let's have a photo shoot. Normally, we do not have a photo shoot, for the authors. We just click, give me a selfie and I will, just post and do the posters. And she was just flabbergasted. So how? Must it's for models. I said, why we are thinking that? I know that's not a very, very important thing, but ask the authors. They will understand the pain of, having a good HD picture when the posters or creatives are designed. She was actually surprised. Why? I said, look, there has been a time when when being an author was like that, having a bag into our shoulders, sleepers into our foot, and, just like going, yeah, I'm an author, and people would look with pity. No, author can also be, add the charm to the society, add the glamour to the society. But first, we would have to accept that I have such potential. I have such belief in my writing. The
Yes.
problem with us, either we had extra belief.
Sorry to
Sorry.
interrupt. Your
Okay.
talk is lightning, and we are sure that we would want to hear you for hours and hours. But we have a time constraint for
So,
this.
is there a time issue?
I request you to give concluding remarks.
Okay, I will sum it up. I will sum it up.
Yes.
So, the only thing which I wanted to say is that we need to understand that we need to have belief in our writing. And as I started in the, as I said in the starting of my conversation, of my talk, that the line by the Gopal Das Neeraj sir, that इंसान होना भाग्य की बात है और कवि होना सौभाग्य की बात. So if you are enough lucky that the goddess Saraswati has showered her blessing on you, then respect it, adore it, and work towards your craft. And be a writer, and be proud to say that I am a writer. That's all. Thanks for my side.
Very, very motivational, sir. Indeed, very motivational. And I'm
Thank you.
sure you have been receiving a lot of great comments. You have so many admirers and so many
That's
people.
it. It's all the, it's all the blessings of goddess Saraswati. It has nothing to do with me.
Yes, sir. So, and you have addressed a lot of great questions in your speech, and I'm very sure that we have so many takeaways from today from your speech and questions that
Thank
will
you.
put our minds and challenge those and come up with an answer like you did in your life, and how you made small startings path to great opportunities and grabbing them while also
Look,
getting.
I will tell you one thing. I
Yes,
will tell you one thing. It's very easy to crib, okay, that I have come from a very small town. Nothing. Everyone have their own share of, problems. The only thing is that you have to be consistent. Only thing I believe that you have to be consistent and nothing else.
yes,
Things things changes. Someday someone, catch the, your attention, and he thinks that, okay, this guy or this girl should be promoted and this guy has potential, and things happen like that. There's nothing to worry about it. We should not creep. We should be just consistent.
yes. So we have been receiving really good comments for your talk,
Thank you.
and
Thank
we
you.
have hosted you. There was a lot to learn from your talk. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you. Thank you.
Time to say goodbye.
And thank you to the TEDx Shivaji College and to the whole team for hosting me. It has been really a wonderful, experience with you. Thank you. Thank you.